Welcome to the Monday edition of the Mike Prince Show. We got a special edition for you, the Athletics Summit with Fred Washington and his state of the address to the alumni. We're going to play it through its entirety, but when we come back tomorrow, we'll dig a little deeper. If you're in the market for a quality attorney, you need to call Lee Van Richardson in Hempstead, Texas at 979-826-8008. And for those of you who are dealing with the cause and effects of diabetes when it comes to your skin care, you need to reach out to Diva Skin Conditioner at divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H feet.com. Or you can reach a representative by dialing 903-270-0026. Enjoy today's show.
Now, Charles is covered from Ms. P. She's going to introduce everybody on the staff, and when it's time for me to get up here, she's tired.
I follow directions.
Well, let me first say God bless y'all and thank y'all for being here. You know, we're just about a year in together. We're just about a year in. You know, I came here and spent some time with you guys last year and just kind of reflecting on that today and listening to our coaching staff go ahead of me and talk about their programs. And let me say officially that I think we have an excellent staff assembled at Prairie View to lead our young people. You know, we talk a lot about wins and losses. We talk a lot about accolades, and you know, at this time of year, you get into a lot of polls and predictions and recommendations, and the success. You know, we dwell on success, but you know, I like to share with you that for me, success is about getting that student athlete across the stage at the end of their tenure here with us. That is what equates to success. You know, over time and a lot of different locations, you know, you find a lot of people come and compete and lay it all on the line for their university of choice. But then when their playing days are over, you know, they don't take that next step and get that degree. And it's a very, very strange world when we function in that way. You know, Coach Dooley came up and talked about, he mentioned Anthony Stubbs. And athletes have relationships with coaches, and we as administrators try, you know, to stay balanced and, you know, interact with all student athletes the same way. But I'm serious about education. I'm serious about academics. And so when Anthony signed the contract, I called Coach and got his contact information. And I asked the young man, I said, well, you know, you're signing this contract, becoming a professional athlete. What is your plan to finish your degree? Because Anthony still had some classes to go. And Anthony gave me what's to go. Oh yes, I got it. I'm gonna get it done. Blah blah blah. You know, you hear that, and I was very excited to see this summer. I was sitting in my office, and a young man walked down, and you know, he got a little money now, so he looked a little different. I recognized him right away, and I said, you know, I recognize this guy, but I can't place him. You know, he looked like one of our students, but he didn't look like one of our students, you know what I mean? And we went into a meeting, and he was talking about compliance, and lo and behold, it was Anthony. They had a break from the Browns program on campus and came back to finish with, he's a business student, finish with the College of Business, mapping out their plan to graduate. That was really, really refreshing to me to see that our students are buying in on what we're putting out there, and that's earning a degree. You know, I shared with our group, our staff came together last Thursday, was it? And I'm still on this academic piece, you guys. I talked about it at Prairie View. Our coaches talked about summer school a little bit. Well, if you really think about it, at Prairie View, our students can start their first summer enrolled at Prairie View and get a minimum of 6 hours. Free of charge. Doesn't matter whether it's full scholarship, partial scholarship. That's something that Prairie View offers. Our students should be able to complete their degree their junior, senior junior year as a student at Prairie View. All right, that's our standard program. But there's a lot of resources and a lot of support that has to go in to get those student athletes to that point. All right, and that's, I think, what a little bit of what Sandy was talking about, the buy-in from the fans, the resources and the support, putting those things together. My intern, one of the J's, right, it's two J's, but only one of them is here, played the video for you guys on the Purple and Gold Fund thing that we had. We're going to try to pull all of these things together and drive this program forward. You know, Vernon talked about being on campus and then you hear the other coaches talk about, you know, getting a student on campus is the only recruiting tool you really need, because once they get there and what they see, it's amazing. But we didn't get there overnight, guys. We didn't just wake up one day and have one of the most beautiful campuses in the United States. It took planning, engagement, and teamwork, and forethought from everybody that's vested in that institution. All right? And the things that you see, you know, I picked on Rob last year because Rob threw some stats at me that were wrong last year. I ain't gonna pick on this one. But he talked about housing yesterday or the day before, one of the days. We've been here a while together. And I live in Alexander Hall. All right, and Alexander Hall, I had to go down the hall to use the bathroom. You know, I'm not looking for any sympathy or anything like that, but it was about 100 yards. So you wait that walk turned into a run. But my point is, at that time, when I decided to come to Prairie View, they kind of recruited me from afar. They didn't bring me to campus and show me around and say, this is what we're going to provide for you. They sold me on education. They sold me on the family piece of this pie. And we still have the educational resources. We still have the family structure and organization together, but we've added the infrastructure and the facilities that make us one of the top institutions in the nation. Going forward, you know, we're going to pull from everyone we can, right? And I see Gerald. I didn't see you over there, Gerald. Gerald's helping us. Others are helping us. And then today, this afternoon, I'm going to meet with the Panther Backers, PV Athletic Club, and Panther Club, who are all helping us, but we all need to be on the same page. Yep. We all need to talk and communicate with one another so we know what the other side is doing in order for us to be effective and successful. I need to hear from you what's important to you, and you need to hear from me what's important for me. If we don't have those conversations, we're all pulling for the same thing, but we're pulling in different directions. All right. So I want to talk about this year. You know, I've said to you that success for me for a student athlete is graduation. You know, that sentiment, that view for me started when I came to you in athletics in 2008. And some of you may have heard me say this before, but in 2008, they put me on an American Airlines. If you know me, I only fly United, so we started off with a bad problem. They put me on American Airlines and flew me into Indianapolis, Indiana, and I walked into NCAA headquarters, and they had this banner when I walked in that said at that time there were just over 340 some odd student athletes, and that at the end of their academic careers or playing careers, less than 1,400 of them would go pro. And that came down to about 2%. Fast forward to 2019, there are over 400 student athletes that are competing right now, but the number of jobs didn't go up. Still, 2% will go on to be professional athletes at the end of their career at their chosen institution. So we're fortunate to have 3 or 4 student athletes in football competing. We're fortunate to have softball player be drafted and compete. We're fortunate to have women's basketball players go and play professionally and nationally. But they have a lot of classmates that won't do that. And so our focus has to be, our efforts have to be on what we as Prairie View pride ourselves on, is producing productive people. Productivity goes beyond the playing surface. Productivity goes on into life. And I want you guys to know that when we're having conversations, when you're talking to me, at the core of what I want to achieve is success. And success for me is graduation. All right? So we had an opportunity, Ms. Pete and I, and Ms. Addison, who's not here, we had an opportunity to watch and observe all of our teams. I went and saw all of our teams compete, even golf. Even Coach Jennings drove me around for a little while on the golf course until he got tired of it. And Joe, I didn't forget you owe me a burger before I leave here today because you made a promise last year. Should I call it out? I ain't gonna do that. But he owed me a burger before I leave the restaurant. But I had the opportunity to go and watch our young people compete. And the most refreshing part of that was all of them seemed to enjoy not only competing on behalf of Prairie View, but they enjoyed the experience overall that they were having as a student athlete at Prairie View University. And that's really what our job is as administrators and support staff. Coach Smith came up here and said, I ain't never said no. That's not true, though. I'm good at saying no. I just say it in a nice way and people accept it from me. But I do believe that you only say no when you have no other choice. Our job is to provide the resources and do those things necessary to help our program be successful. And if I have those tools, if I have those resources, there's absolutely no reason why I shouldn't provide them to our teams and to our student athletes. A couple of things I didn't hear mentioned that I wanted to mention. Next Thursday, we have our purple and gold mixer. It's going to be at Herman Park. If you are a season pass member or one of those things, you're our guest. If you're not, you're still welcome to come, but they probably going to stop you at the door and ask you to pull out your credit card. But
If you're an AD member.
If you're an AD club member, which I think comes with one of the season passes, it does. But we really want you to come out and have an opportunity to mix and fellowship with our coaches and our staff. You know, I like to give credit where credit is due. Our commissioner, Charles McClellan, who is also a Prairie View alum and was also our former athletic director during the SWAC basketball tournament in Birmingham, he had an event like this, and I just thought that it was a good way to mix and interact with our fans and supporters and our alums, and we wanted to replicate it. And so that's really what this is. His was called Cocktails with the Commissioner, or some Charles is a fancy talking guy, and I couldn't come up with anything, so they said Purple and Gold. So it's Purple and Gold mixer. Maybe next year will be some fancy name, but right now it's going to be Purple and Gold mixer. I really hope that you have the opportunity to come out and fellowship with us. The video that you guys saw, the video a couple of months ago, I think at the beginning of the summer, we kind of rebranded our fundraising and support efforts, trying to bring all of those resources together into one place. You still have the ability to direct your gift, to say where you want it to go and what you want it to be used for, but we want to be able to let you give it through one platform. For those of you who sat through Carmi Williams' program or her presentation, she talked about annual fund. This is a subset of annual fund. So if you go through the Purple and Gold Fund and support athletics, you're actually also doing the same things that Carmi talked about. You'll be recognized as a part of the annual fund through that report. It's been a great year to be a parent. You know, last year I talked about my 5 years. Who was here last year? There's a lot of new faces in here. But last year I talked about being a person of faith and things kind of happen in the way that they're supposed to, and that it had been 5 years since I had stepped away from this opportunity in 2013. If you backed up 5 years from that, I was just coming back from a tour in Afghanistan, and so I'm excited to see what 5 years from last year is going to look like for me and for you. You know, during 2008 to 2013, we won together 14 championships. 14 championships. But better than that, for me, We had the second highest graduation rate in the state of Texas. All right, so between 2008 and 2013, we won 14 championships. And at the same time, we had the second highest graduation rate in the state of Texas. So that's our goal. Our goal is, yes, to post high GPAs and high grades. And yes, we're measured by the NCAA for APR, and that's academic progress rate spelled out. But GSR, which we talk a lot less about, is really where the rubber meets the road. That's your graduation rate. All right. Our student athletes outpace the general student population significantly in graduation rates in total. Significantly, and that's not new. It's not something that we just started doing, but we're still not graduating 100% of the student athletes in which we bring in here. And that's got to be the goal. The goal has to be that if we're going to bring you to Prairie View, we want you to leave Prairie View a success. All right? You guys call me, email me, and text me a lot about what's new, what's going on with facilities and all that stuff. Mr. Kemp, who I don't see, seems like he sneaks on campus every other day and takes pictures and sending them out. But we appreciate that. It's not a bad thing. But the dome is a big project that everybody talks about. Well, the dome is moving around. We're trying to enhance greatly the experience that you have when you come into our facilities. The dome project itself is a handicap accessibility project. It is not what you would traditionally call a renovation. But while the handicap accessibility work is going on, we're on top of that going in and touching these spaces in ways that are considered renovation. So we're doing things, or trying to make it special places for our student athletes that are on a lower level. We're doing things that are going to try to enhance the corridors and the spaces in which you interact with and mingle. We have some things that we're going to try to do that's going to capture and recognize our history. You know, one of the things that was very surprising to me, believe it or not, when we opened a new stadium in 2016, you know, even though I was on campus every day, people think that I was just walking around looking at the walls and knew everything that was going on. Well, I was in a different department. What was surprising to me in re-entering this area and going back into the building was all of the white walls. You know, all of the blank landscape really that we had in which to tell our story. So we've started a variety of things. Ms. Pete sent me a big bill last week for all these. I dreamed these things up, and then somebody gave me a bill and I start rethinking stuff all of a sudden. But we're going to do everything that we can to tell the story of Prairie View as you traverse the spaces that represent athletics. So when you go into the dome, if you went into the dome this sports season, you saw two lounge spaces that were kind of built out there, where those spaces are going to become spaces where our sports history, our Hall of Famers are documented and recognized. We're working with the library right now to try to get that thing cataloged and done. You know, libraries move at library paces. So we're going to get it done, but they haven't told me exactly what it's going to look like. I was fortunate enough to get the idea. Again, you get good ideas from everywhere. But when our women's basketball team competed in Fort Worth at TCU for the tournament, I walked their spaces, and they really had done some creative things in highlighting and documenting their history. So we're going to replicate some of those things. We don't have to recreate the wheel. So that's the dome. And there are some surprises in the dome that we're trying to make surprises. But again, Mr. Kemp will probably get it to you guys before I put it out. Then there's the space that I'm working hard on is the academic learning space in Farrell Hall. If some of you have been on campus in the last few years, Farrell Hall was traditionally our campus laundry. It's taken on a whole bunch of different tenants, if you will, since then. It has a dining hall in there. It's had a computer lab in there. There's some other things. It still has a small laundry piece in there, and we're building out academic learning space for our student athletes. That I'm calling it an academic learning space, but it's going to be more than that. It's going to be a space where our student athletes can spend time and grow and develop as people in general. All right, so academics is important, but creating a well-rounded experience and well-rounded opportunity is where we're going to go to. I was surprised. I looked back there and I saw Sandy in the back, and I have to share this example of alumni support and what happened. So yesterday, Sandy, or Friday, was it yesterday y'all went to NASA? Yesterday. And so Sandy was telling me at our staff retreat that they were pulling resources together to take our young ladies to NASA on Friday. And, I said, well, our alumni have provided us resources and support specifically designed to get our students exposure and experiences outside the classroom that helps them grow and develop. And so just yesterday, because of your support of the Purple and Gold Fund that we created a little earlier this summer, we were able to send our women's basketball team to NASA to learn about the United States, the NASA space program, and things in general. That is really the goal. That is really what we want to try to provide for our student athletes. So yes, it's important to provide them the best facilities. Yes, it's important to provide them the best gear and equipment. And yes, it's important for them to have everything that they need to be successful in the classroom, but life extends beyond that. Studying abroad is something that we want to do that they talked about yesterday, but there's a lot to learn in the United States. I have all of these thoughts in my mind, Charles, and I could share all day. I'm not gonna, because I gotta eat that burger that Joe was on. but I want to share with you that I honestly believe that you're going to see some really amazing performances from our sports team this year. I have watched these young people move about the campus this entire summer, and because of that, I didn't get that much vacation. Coach, we had 93 students here. Coach Smith had his guys running around. Glenn, you gave your students some off?
No,
they did too. So all of them up there. But we had in the fall almost 200 students in summer one, and we're higher than that in summer two. So we really were not closed for business this summer. I really want to reiterate as I close that moving this program forward is like driving a cruise ship. All right? Change is coming. We're making a turn, but we won't make that turn overnight. And if you've ever been in the captain's chair of a cruise ship, that captain don't drive it alone. It takes a team to drive that cruise ship and to get it to its final destination. I believe that Prairie View University Athletics is poised to do something very special in the very near future. For that special thing to become a reality, we all need to be together. I invite you and I encourage you to invest your time, your resources, and your opinions in Prairie View University Athletics, and I promise you, the best is yet to come. God bless you.